Hey everyone, welcome to the channel or welcome back to the channel if it's not your first time here. I really do appreciate you coming back and checking out some more of my content. Hopefully you find this helpful. If you do, please consider liking the video and even more, consider subscribing to the channel so that you can see some more of the content that I'll be producing upcoming. So today I wanted to talk about a new device. I've only had it for a couple of days, but it's the Boox Go Color 7 Gen 2, the one with the stylus support. And I wanted to talk about a very specific use case that I have for this, the reason that I bought it. And I really wanted to talk about, is it going to meet that need or not? So let me set the stage for you. I think I've documented in previous videos. I work for a very large Fortune 500 company. I work in the home office of the company. But, probably 2 weeks a month, I travel to remote locations. I'm in a supply chain environment, meaning distribution centers or warehouses, whatever you want to call them. So I'm usually in a million and a half square foot facility, walking around that facility with groups of other people. And really, I'm trying to get feedback from the leaders in those particular facilities as to challenges they have and things that we can do to help improve their life in their uh, day-to-day work in those buildings. So I take a lot of notes when I'm walking about. And typically what I do, I take a device that I usually take one of my smaller devices, and that is, sometimes, to be honest, it's not an e-ink device. Sometimes it's an iPad Pro, sometimes it's an iPad Mini, but I really prefer the e-ink devices, especially when I'm walking around with something in my hand with a stylus and trying to write. I need the best writing feel that I can. So I often take Boox Note Air 4C, Super Note Manta, but I've been looking for a smaller device, a smaller ink device to use for that. I've considered the Super Note Nomad. I think it'd be a great addition. I've also considered the ViWoods AI Mini. I think that would be a great solution. But my hiccup with that, or my heartache with that, is that now I'm somewhat vested in the Boox ecosystem. Who knew Boox has an ecosystem, but I guess they do. If you've got more than one device, you find out that it's really nice to have those notes sync together. I am a note taker above all else. That's kind of my use case for any of my ink devices. So it's nice that if I take a note on the Boox Tab XC, it's also on the Note Max, it's also on the Note Air 4C. And the reason that I got the Go Color 7 was because, hey, it'll be on the Go Color 7 too. And if I need to reference that, I could. But also, if I take notes in one of those facilities, it'll also translate to those other devices as well. So my use case is this. As I'm walking around in a facility, we typically have to wear some kind of a safety vest or whatever, and it's got pockets on the front. Those bigger devices don't fit well in the pockets. So when I'm writing, it's great. I'm holding it in my hands, but when I'm through writing and I just want to interact with people or the environment, I need to do something with that device, and I typically slip it in a pocket. And the bigger devices are not a great fit. So I thought when I saw the Go Color 7 Gen 2 that since it had stylus support, that would be a great option for what I'm trying to do. So I ordered one. And, a couple of things come to mind, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Um, I'm a lefty, so when I write, my hand has to rest somewhere. So, lefties typically, at least me being a lefty, my finger curls up over the page instead of being below it like a right-handed person would be. So I need something to rest my hand on, and a device this small, really any device, it's not really a device this small, but I usually have to use my pinky to kind of prop myself and give myself some kind of writing stability. So, I guess that's one issue, and I really do have that with any device when I'm walking around. One of the things that I have thought about doing if I use the Go Color 7 Gen 2 is that I could begin writing in the middle of the page, and then when I'm ready to, start a new paragraph, I could lasso that, move that to the top of the page, and then I could continue writing in the middle of the page, and the whole time it would give me that writing support that I need. So that was option number one. Option number two was I thought, well, do I really need to use a stylus at all? I could just open a text box in a note, and I use the Gboard keyboard, so I could just use swipe typing to be able to capture my notes that way, and that would be a very valid use of the device as well. Of course, I could do that on my phone as well. The only problem with my phone, and the reason that I don't use that, is that a lot of times, especially if I'm in a building with people that are higher up than I am, if I'm sitting over there swiping on my phone, it could be misinterpreted that I'm not engaged in the meeting that we're in or the walk of the building that we're in, that I can be texting or emailing, and I don't want to give that perception. So having a dedicated writing device is much better in that particular situation. So, those are a couple of options. I was not able to get the InkSense stylus when I ordered my Go Color 7 Gen 2. They're sold out. So I've been looking for a third-party substitute for that, and I found this pen on Amazon. And I talked to some people in a Discord chat. As a matter of fact, the Discord chat is owned by Roderick Wortham from Rants About Tech. Um, got on his live stream last night. If you've never been on one of his, check him out. He's going to be doing it every Friday night at about 7 p.m. Eastern time. We just had a blast in there. It was not a tremendously large group of folks, but we were just bantering back and forth. So go check out Rants About Tech, and then look at the link in his description for that Discord server. And I think you'll have a blast talking about e-ink devices in there. So Roderick, thank you for providing that for the community. But this particular stylus works reasonably well. One of the, I've heard a lot of reviews from Kit Betts Masters, Voya, and some other folks, talking about the writing experience is not good. And I really, was unsure of what that would look like. To me, the writing experience, I agree, it's not great. And I think it's the capacitive touch layer that's on there. It's not as precise as a Wacom EMR device would be, or writing system would be. And when you write letters like the letter E or other letters that have a loop in it, a lot of times that just kind of gets mashed together and you don't get the definition that you would with a Wacom EMR stylus. But it's usable, and it's not, you do get a lot of taps and clicks on the screen, at least with a pen that I'm using right now. So there's that. But this is not my main writing device. This is just to fit that very specific use case of when I'm traveling. So that's my work use case for it. I'll get to pressure test that next week. I'll be 4 days on the road traveling to different buildings, and I'm going to use the Go Color 7 as my primary in-building device. So the other reason that I bought the Go Color 7 Gen 2 was because of the size. And, I've got a Kindle Oasis that I really love the Oasis. It's also a 7-inch screen. It's got the page turns buttons on the side as well. And I would read in bed at night on that device. And I thought about, a lot of times I'll take a larger device because I just don't have anything smaller, a larger device that'll do something more than just reading, so I can, you know, get into the Discord chats, or, go to Reddit or social media or whatever the case may be, as I'm settling in to go to sleep. Of course, the Kindle can't do that. So, I thought, well, the Go Color 7 Gen 2 could potentially fill that bill as well. And for the past couple of nights, it has. A lot of the time that I spent on the Discord last night, on Rants About Tech's Discord, I was on the Go Color 7 Gen 2 and typing. I use the Gboard keyboard. It's just easier to swipe type on there than it is to use the Hunt and Peck with the Onyx keyboard. And it was a pretty good experience. I had to check what I wrote, and I had to check to make sure that Gboard was interpreting my swipes correctly. And I had to make a few corrections, but it wasn't horrible. And then Boox just gives you all of the customization options to where you can, when I first looked at the Discord chat on there, the text was kind of light. It wasn't extremely readable, but Boox makes it to where you can customize all that stuff, and you can change anything about the viewing experience per app if you want to do that. And once I did that, it was a fantastic experience. So with that said, those are my two use cases: work as a portable device, take notes in buildings, and then something to not only replace my Kindle at night, but also to give me the functionality, actually the full functionality of Android and the Google Play Store. And I think this is going to fit the bill pretty well. But I'll come back after a week when I get back from my trip next week and kind of give something more than just these initial impressions. Right now, I'm telling you how I intend to use it, but I'll come back and tell you how did it work when I was using it there. So anyway, I hope you found this helpful. I hope you stay tuned for the next video. Once again, if you like what you see here, take the opportunity to like and subscribe if you would consider doing so. It means the world to me. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. I'm close. Just need some help from some of you folks out there. All right, thanks and see you in the next video.